Hello guys, good morning. Today in this video tutorial, we are going to discuss about vulnerability management requirements. As we all know that in our previous video tutorial, we discussed vulnerabilities, right? So no hardware or no software is strong enough to protect themselves against vulnerability, right? So in the other terms, we can say all the hardwares and all the softwares are vulnerable. Okay, all the software and all the hardwares are vulnerable. So we cannot say like each and every hardware or each and every software that we are using is strong enough against the cybersecurity attack. So in this video tutorial, we are going to watch how an organization can protect themselves against the vulnerability. Like in organization, like we need to have an understanding, like if you are having an organization, you make sure there are certain things that you want to do, there are certain things that you should do, there are certain things we must know that we have to do. Okay, so we have to have a knowledge in categorizing this thing. I can repeat it. Like if you are running an organization or any other businesses I'm talking about, you should know what we have to do, you should know what you should do, and you should know what we have to do. Okay, so it might be a little confusing when you listen to this kind of thing, but to keep it simple, more than what we want to do, there are certain things that we should do, okay, in an organization. So that concept comes under the concept called vulnerability management. In order to protect our organization from any possible vulnerabilities, we have to or we should do certain things. Okay, so as you see in this slide, vulnerability management is the most crucial thing that an organization must do, because we all know all the businesses nowadays have online transactions, right? When we are having online transaction, if you go deep into that concept, like it's not about only making money, it's not about only transacting money or kind of a valuable things. Like it is more than that. Like we are transmitting from one source to the other source, like one point to the other point, we are transmitting data. So that data may be confidential, or that data might be someone's information. So always make sure, like when we are doing online business or when we are dealing something in the online environment, it's not all about money. More than money, we are dealing with data as well. So that data protection is most compulsory nowadays. So if you are running an organization, make sure you are protecting your client's data, because if you are not concentrating on that, it might lead you to kind of a problem like legal issues. Okay, always make sure you are protecting your data. So that's what in my previous videos I spoke about, like social engineering attacks. So protecting data is most important. Okay, so protecting my computer against all the vulnerability means I'm protecting the data that is inside my computer. Okay, so vulnerability management is one of the most important process that every organization should carry. So how we can perform the vulnerability management thing? So consider we have an organization. Our organization should abide the rules and regulations of certain external authorities. For example, the government. Whatever nation you might be, if you want to run a business, if you want to start an organization, government will give you certain rules and regulations. If you want to do the business there, it is so obvious you need to follow the rules and regulations. So that rules and regulations involve security protocols. And other thing, some internal authorities, like the nature of business. For example, consider you are doing an online business. If you are doing an online business, you have to abide with the rules and regulations of certain organization that involve in approving online businesses. And we will also, like as an organization, you will have your own security policies, like you will have to make sure that you are following it properly. So again, I'm repeating, if you want to run an organization, in that organization, if you want to perform vulnerability management, it is so mandatory that you have to follow the rules of government or any other third-party organization that involve in that kind of businesses. And as an organization, you have to create your own security policies. Okay, so in organization, it is compulsory. Okay, in organization, it is compulsory to have a strong vulnerability management. Okay, and regulatory. Okay, now we are talking about regulatory environment. Now, previously we understood about what is vulnerability management and why do we need vulnerability management. Here in this slide, you can see there are few regulatory environments are there which controls all the organization. Okay, so an organization works or operate based on certain rules and regulations. So that rules and regulations are created by governments or any other third-party organization who deals with approval and by themselves, organization itself. That's what we discussed, right? There are a few other organizations called ISO, IEC, International Organization for Standardization, and International Electrotechnical Commission. Okay, so they come out with certain rules and regulation that each and every organization should follow it. Okay, so all these rules and regulation will focus on information security management. So as an organization, we will have to follow whatever policies or whatever protocols that they are asking you to follow, you will have to follow. Okay, so if each and every year or in a quarterly basis or a 6-month basis, hourly basis, the people from the ISO, IEC can audit your organization. So they can perform that audit in 3 levels. The first level will be like desk level. Desk level means they will come for an inspection and they will see whatever you documented. They will see all the documentation. By that, they can come to know what kind of policies that you have, and they can also evaluate you how far that you are following their principles or their rules and regulations. And the second level is that they can audit about the people who is performing the vulnerability management. They will check whether those people are licensed to do that. Third level, they can go physically and they can audit each and every system. So here the point is, so this particular regulatory environment gives an organization certain protocols or rules or regulations to be followed in order to maintain the information system security. And the second regulatory environment is that payment card industry data security standards. So we all know that all the organization nowadays, they involve online transactions. So it's not like I'm starting an online business, so people order stuffs from my web store and they pay money. It's not only that. Behind the screen, my transaction system, whatever transaction system that I'm using, should be secured enough. So it should abide the rules and regulations of PCI DSS. Okay, we have major like banking thing like Visa, Master, and something else, right? So all those transaction things should follow the rules of PCI and DSS. Okay, here's the point again. It's not only we are transacting money. If you want to transact the money, what we are doing, we are collecting all the information from our customers. We are collecting their name, mobile number, email, and card details and their confidential data. So all those data is going to be stored in your web server, right? You have to make sure that data is secure. So talking about it, we have to follow the rules and regulations of PCI DSS. And last thing is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Most of the healthcare centers like hospitals and also healthcare related business like insurance, everybody collects personal information about clients, right? They collect the first name, last name, and all the other information. So they have to make sure they are protecting their data, the client's data, in a secured manner. Otherwise, like, the client can sue that organization, and it might create a big loss for all the organizations. So whoever the organization deals with healthcare system and insurance thing, like, they will have to follow strict data security policy. So these are all few regulatory environments that we should be aware about. Like, each and every organization who involves doing business in collecting clients data, they have to abide the rules of ISO, IEC, and also PCI DSS and HIPAA. Okay, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Okay, and then now coming out from the regulatory environment. So regulatory environments, I am doing my business, but I have to follow someone's policies, rules, and regulations. Now, for doing my business, I have to create my own security policies. So who can create that? Senior management can create that. So their focus will be on, they create this policy focusing on organizational or issue specific or system specific. Organizational means, like, they can create policies how organizations data can be protected, how organization resources can be protected. So they can frame some rules for that. And issue specific means, like, for example, that organization involves online transaction. So that's an issue, that's a functionality. So they can create some rules focusing that particular functionality. Probably the other department in the same organization, they deal with marketing. So this particular rules, security standards, no need to be applied there. So that is what issue specific, functionality based. And the next thing is system specific. What do you mean by system specific in this sense? In organization, they use various devices, nodes like computers, printers, servers. Like, if you are creating security standards for those devices, that talks about system specific. So now what we need to understand, a regulatory environments controls organization in order to follow strict security protocols. Excluding that, an organization itself can create security policies. And coming to the data level, I mentioned already, each and every organization collects data. Now, protecting the data is so important, right? So we have to categorize the data. So data collection can be done through different sources and from different regions and from different people. So after collecting all those data, an organization should categorize the data. So in order to categorizing the data, you can use metadata. Metadata means information about data itself. For example, if I'm collecting the data about my top clients, so I can create a metadata mentioning top clients instead of using clients. Clients means they will become normal. They will become a usual thing. So these top clients do a lot of business with me. So I'm naming them. So specific, by nature specific, you can name the data. So that is called as metadata. Okay. And not only that, whenever you are collecting the data, that data can be categorized as private, confidential, proprietary, and public. Private data, those data might belongs to an individual. Make sure you are protecting that. Confidential data, it might be related to organization policy or some sensitive information, those kinds of things. Proprietary data, like those data talks about like who owns what. Okay, so it is not to be revealed, right? It is not to be revealed. Make sure you are protecting that. Okay, public data, even though the public data got leaked, so it will not create a big loss to the organization. So data loss can create a big loss to organization economically and by reputation wise, right? So if data leak, like if data leak happen, it might bring any problem. The leaked data can be modified. the leaked data can be corrupted. Whatever happens to that data will have a strong impact on organization. So make sure all the organization are protecting the data in an effective manner. Okay. And asset inventory. So each and every organization have to perform asset management, because an organization should know what they have and what they are using. They might have 100 computers, but they might use only 10 computers for their everyday activity, business functionality. So what happens to that 90 computers? So you might think it will not bring any problem. Make sure out of that 90 computers, we don't know what are all the softwares that are running in that computer. We don't know what are all the data that are stored in that computer. So we should know what are all the assets that we have. You have to audit each and everything. Okay, so we should have information about all unauthorized computer and all unauthorized devices. It may be hardware devices or software. Make sure you are doing asset inventory. Okay, because in the cyber security attack, let me explain you a short example in order to understand this particular importance for this asset inventory. I have 100 computers. Okay, I bought those 100 computers, but I am using only 20 computers in my everyday work. Consider there is an hacker gaining access inside the organization, and he is leaving the device in the workplace. That device is connected with our internet. Okay, now using that device, he can access the whole network. So in that way, our whole organization might be compromised. So that's what unauthorized and authorized device should be audited. We should count each and everything. Okay, so that's the point. I hope you understood that. And critical asset, like every organization have certain devices that it might be hardware or software, again, plays a important role in their everyday functionality. Make sure you are protecting the data, you are protecting that kind of devices. And there are also some non-critical assets are there. It is good to audit that also. It's good to see what that particular device is performing, but you can give some low priority to that particular thing. Okay, so these are all the various things that as an organization we have to perform in order to protect an organization from vulnerability. So talking about it is called as vulnerability management. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Bye.